When I think of a change maker, I think somebody who has the vision to see a problem, but also vision to see the solution. I feel so grateful to be a parade change maker.
Every change maker that we've spoken to so far, we always go back to childhood. Talk to me about that young Elaine.
Gosh, where do I even begin? When I think about little Elaine, I remember being like in the bathtub and I would just pretend to be like doing an interview, like Oprah. It would just be me by myself playing both roles. And it's so interesting to like see the way that my career unfolded and kind of all of the little miracles along the way that opened doors for me to be able to live out that dream that I had as a little girl.
I do tend to believe that like that little Elaine who was having those interviews, those like Oprah style interviews, that is the same Elaine who's here now, you know? Like I think that's
It really
great.
is. I remember in college being like, somehow at every party, there would be like one person who would find me, or I guess I would attract them, and we'd be in the corner holding hands.
Yes.
And I'd be like, tell me everything. And it would just be like this like heart to heart, like confessional. That is just who I've always been. It's who I am at work. It's who I am in my relationships. I love asking questions. I'm super curious. And I think I've always been someone who just also like to root for the underdog. We need to make space for people who are different and make sure that they feel safe and included and seen. And I think that's something that I've carried into my career. You know, at Teen Vogue, I felt like this is an opportunity for me to create space for other people who may not otherwise have had inroads here.
What you've been able to bring too has been so important and has kind of really changed the game in a way. And I wanted to really ask you, there also is grappling, there's a sort of pressure of when you maybe are the first in a lot of spaces, in underrepresented spaces, and a lot of spaces that I know from my upbringing growing up too, my dad's black, my mom's white, it was super similar.
However, I look exactly like you,
yeah.
so
no, you're my
this
sister,
is,
though,
yeah, you're
so
literally
I don't know
my
why
brother.
I told you that, right, because we
This
grew up
might be
together.
the first time that we are not the only ones in the room.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? We look literally exactly like each other.
This was how it's always how it is.
Yeah, this is how it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
I love this so much. It's so real. I mean, first of all, I love looking into your face because literally I see kin, I see family, I see somebody who makes me feel safe. I feel like we probably have a lot in common, and that's comforting to my nervous system because I think you and I both have spent most of our career in spaces where that's not the case. And I remember being at this like turning point in my career where I was given this big job opportunity that I knew I had earned, but I remember seeing my name in the headline for the first time and seeing my race in the headline. I saw that I had made history as the first black woman to, and it kind of contextualized and added a weightiness to the opportunity. What am I gonna do with that? I can't just come in here and act like the next person. So I have to bring my own shoes. I have to fill those out. I have to learn how to tell stories only I can tell. And like the things that resonate with me, I wanna express those things, and I want other people to feel safe. So like, I truly feel like that was a turning point in my career completely. And it informed kind of all of the work from there on.
Look at what was waiting for you. I mean, you had Project Runway, which is so amazing. Of course, you got to go to the Talk too.
And that is absolutely doing a disservice to themselves and their children, our future. So
talk to me about these other projects too that you got to explore.
I actually left to write my book. I knew that was like the thing I needed to do. You know, I had spent all of my career telling other people's stories, and it was really time to tell mine. While I was writing More Than Enough, Project Runway came along, and it became this incredible part of my life that I had so much fun with. And Carly was one of my friends from the fashion industry, and she was joining the show. Brandon was a friend. Like, we just all kind of like held hands and jumped in. And then I got pregnant.
Yeah.
And that was also not planned.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that just kind of happened.
I think it's so beautiful to even just think about like all those steps that got you to where you are. And I think the way that it feels like motherhood is such an amazing, exciting part of your journey now.
My motherhood journey has only expanded my life and really enriched my career in ways I never saw coming. Sometimes there's certain issues or causes in the world that you can't connect to until you are dropped into first-person experience with it. And that's sort of what precipitated or what caused me to create birthFUND. I started birthFUND in April 2024 while I was pregnant with my second baby. as a way to call attention to something that we do not talk about enough on behalf of all of the mothers who have needlessly lost their lives during and after childbirth because of the brokenness in the maternal health system. These deaths are largely preventable. I think that there's this foregone conclusion that birth is scary, it's a gamble, it's a risk, and you can lose your life. But in 2025, we have the technology and the resources to do better and to keep these women alive. I just remember thinking, like, what can I do to stand in the gap for at least one family? I can cover the cost of care for midwifery for at least one family. Now, I know people who can do that and some. And now what if we came together? Let's create a fund so that this is one pathway to create safer births for families who want and need it. And it kind of turned into this organization. I mean, Serena Williams, she's one of our founding family funders. She shared her story with the world. It helped open my eyes. It helped open so many people's eyes to this issue. We have to step up and put our money and our resources and our energy and our time where our values are. And this is where I've chose to invest mine.
It's unfortunate now, though, that we are seeing such pushback right now with a lot of the little steps it felt like we were able to take then. So what do you think for the future? What are your biggest hopes?
I think the answers, the solutions, the safety, the healing, it's going to come from the community, recognizing our power, recognizing what happens when we come together and when we rally. You have to choose where you can make an impact. If we each just invested in one solution to one problem that we feel called to resolve, we would find the community that will help us do it, and we could actually make a difference and hopefully solve some of these generational issues in our lifetime.